So this seems like a really important thing.
True professionals like this who represent what we are in every single market.
There are opportunities out there, and you just have to grab it.
But a moment like that, where you realize you really do touch people's lives, it's a good feeling.
I mean, it gives me so much joy.
Yeah.
Watching or giving somebody the keys to a house.
Yeah.
And saying, here, welcome to your new home.
CNG Media.
Hey everyone, this episode is in collaboration with Robert Graham, featuring styles from the Short Hill store in New Jersey. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to Vino with Vito. Today we have John Noddy. John Noddy does commercial real estate. I want to learn a lot about commercial real estate. And we have the Wizard back.
The Wizard's back on.
The Wizard's not drinking again, but me and John are going to drink. I got a nice red blend. We tried this last time, Wizard. You remember?
It is good.
Yeah, it's good. It's cold. So that's the good thing about it. I had to open it, and we let it breathe a little bit.
That does look good.
You sure you don't want it?
I'm in recovery right now. Coming off a
tough
heater weekend, yeah.
Yeah, we all have those weekends. I have them every weekend. This is a night podcast, by the way. John, salute.
Cheers, boys.
Let's,
So commercial real estate and residential real estate.
my favorite. Red.
Which one's
and
better?
It's a little
It's
cold.
Good,
right? It's good. I like residential. I don't
Have you
do
done
commercial.
a lot of commercial?
I've done commercial here and there, dabbled in it a little bit, but you know what? I work 7 days a week. These commercial guys only work 5 days a week.
That's it.
And they don't work at night, so.
That's the biggest.
Shots are being
Everybody
fired
I tell,
early
that's
here.
the biggest difference. Resi is you got to work off hours because that's when your clients are because they're working jobs. They got to go look at after. Commercials a 9 to 5. Wow, you call me at 7:30 on a Thursday, you're waiting.
Not answering.
Unless you're a client, obviously.
sure.
But for the most part, I'm not doing showings on the weekend. And my guys don't want to because it's, like I said,
No.
they're in this as a business as opposed to emotionally buying a house. We got to move the kids. What's the school? But the
Yeah.
commercial end of it it's a little more of a business
More
aspect,
time,
so I
yeah.
ain't got to do it. So no weekends.
I feel like one's emotional, one's more logical when it comes to commercial versus residential, right? Would you say?
I would think so, yeah, because again, with residential, it is emotional. You know, you're moving your kids, you're moving your
Sure.
family, you're buying a home to live in.
Yeah.
Commercial, it could be you're buying a warehouse, you're buying a store, you're doing a business, whatever, you know? But
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely.
you guys sell most of your listings, right? Is that how it works with commercial? You guys get the listing, and then you guys are the ones to sell it, or?
Yeah, I mean, so I would say the biggest issue with commercial or even getting into commercial is, one, there's so many avenues to go about, and two, there's nowhere to learn. I mean, my license is the same as your license, so it's not like when we were taking that real estate class, they were teaching us about commercial. I think there was like one question about environmental and easements, and then
Sure.
like other than that,
Right.
it's all. So I mean, it's just tough to learn about it, and then once you get in there, you realize that there's a billion different scenarios of what you want to do. It's like asset class, sales versus leasing, sizes. Do you want to work in institutional quality or do you want to work with people that are building businesses? And it's like they're all so siloed and so different that it's like without getting in there and learning about it, you'll never know. So I mean, I started this and got my license in 2012. I sold 2 residential houses, and I was like, this isn't for me.
Chris did that too. He got
I
his
did both
residential
sides.
license
Yeah.
and his commercial, and he got out of both of them.
Yeah.
I like commercial more.
Someone I knew, I told him I was getting out. I knew I wanted to be in real estate, so I was going to try and maybe go on the construction side or maybe go on the acquisition side. And a good friend of mine kind of was like, hey, why don't you check this out? He was trying to start in this new company. And he was explaining it to me, and he was just like, we don't sell on comps. We sell on cash flow. And he's like, you don't even have to do showings sometimes. I was like, you're telling me I could sell a $2 million property and never go there? He was like, yeah. I was like, I'm all in. So,
Was this Jason?
no, it was Pat.
Oh, Pat?
Yeah, so this was Massey Knackle, this company that was out of the city. They were starting a Jersey off. So I got in there and I fell in love with it. They were very heavy on the sales side, almost exclusively multifamily. I ended up coming in and being their first industrial broker, but I always had kind of this idea that I wanted to be in multifamily. So I did learn a lot about it. Now, ultimately, I'm working in Newark and we're doing 90% industrial. But yeah, so you're going through there. I mean, what you're looking at from that, and again, this is a very specific asset. We're working on $2 to $7 million sales, kind of I call them Joe Schmoes. I mean, Not that a Joe Schmo's got a $20 million portfolio, but when you start looking at the institutional where they have a $200 million portfolio, these guys are kind of middle markets guys, and they make stuff move.
Sure.
But they're just looking at it as, is this a good investment? Am I going to be able to take my returns out? And then over time, you pay it off, and now that building turns into your bank, you refi, or you borrow against, and you go get another one. And they just kind of keep building that way. So there's a steady pipeline with it, and it's not as much emotional. They're not concerned about the school system, or is there hardwood under these carpets, or they want to know, is the roof's going to last? Is there environmental?
I guess the only emotional side is if you have a business, you're a business owner, you've been building that business for 30, 40 plus years, and then you're officially getting rid of it.
Yeah.
That's really the only emotional side. But
or going the other way
or,
with these guys. I mean, with rentals going up now, a lot of that's what the market's kind of picked up. Post-COVID, industrial got crazy. We had a little bit of a downtick in 2023 when the interest rates went up. It's starting to pick up again. What happens is there's a margin that works for investors. And when interest rates go up, that margin might disappear. But on top of that, you have the guys that own businesses. So they're not really looking at this as an investment per se for just a real estate, because they don't need that extra white meat where they're going to sell, where the rentals is going to cover, and that's where they're going to make cash. They're selling their product. So that's what they're looking at. So when the market gets tighter, it turns to a lot of owner users. And you get a lot of them that are mad at a landlord that's turning around, or that building sold and there's a new landlord. And he's going, hey, we're going to.
So I want to get, this guy's busting my chops now. He wants to raise my rent. You know what? Let me go find something, and hopefully, what I pay for it is going to be the same as me renting it. Why make somebody else rich when I can make myself rich?
And in the long term, you got a leverageable asset that's, I mean, now we're dealing with, like you were just saying, the guys that bought a building 10, 15, 20 years ago because they needed it. They didn't care about real estate. They didn't understand real estate. They're like, I want a building, and I don't want to get kicked out of it. Now you fast forward, and the building's worth 10x what they thought their business was worth. So what we're actually seeing now,
and showing them what you have.
Yeah, is we're getting a lot of guys that are now selling the building, and they're just letting their business just fall apart. They have kids that don't want to do it. It's something obscure.
That's huge right now.
A lot of kids don't want to take up the family
and
business.
They're these great business. Again, I'm doing one right over here in Livingston, over on Nayland.
Yeah.
They do a kind of like, they take in bulk product, break it down to smaller bulk, and then sell it out. All right, so I'm looking at this guy's P&L. He's doing $5.5 million a year.
It's crazy.
Bringing this stuff in. No one wants to take it over, and he's like, you know what? The business is worth more than that. I mean, the building's worth more. Let me sell the building, and if someone wants the business, I'll give it for $1 million. And it's just like, so we're actually now
that's crazy
transitioning more into business sales, because there's just so many out there, and we're just seeing them sit there. And it does seem
that's
like
a great move.
There's a younger crowd that's kind of working into this, what used to be the commercial real estate, your private buyers, it's like below private equity. A lot of them are realizing that they don't have the capital to purchase buildings at that price point, because really you need large down payments. So what they're doing is they're turning around and they're coming and scooping up a lot of these businesses and then just throwing in leases with options to purchase. And then hopefully one day that business that they purchased can pay enough down and they can borrow against that and then take the building. So they're kind of back-ending this real estate idea with the businesses, which is something that really has just popped up in the last 5 years that we're trying to take advantage of.
Right, and you got to be creative too. You got to look at all the angles. You know, hey, how could I make this work? Like you said, hey, maybe buy part of this business or buy the business that'll get you into the building.
Sure.
And then from there, you just move on.
You can sell the business in pieces depending on what it is. Heavy machinery.
Yeah.
You have any businesses we can buy like pennies on the dollar, and then we'll worry about buying the.
There's a few out there. There's such like unique and obscure.
We have a mutual friend in Lyndhurst, the guy who runs the Italian American Club of Lyndhurst. That's a great example.
Yeah,
the kids don't want it.
No. There's these. I mean, we have one. It's a tank wash down on Doremus Ave in Newark. It's the only tank wash that's available.
Wow. On
Doremus Ave. I mean, the truck traffic down there. Now, we haven't been. It needs to be attached to the land. The guy wants a ton of. We're looking at somewhere in the $5.5 million for 1 acre of land, without anything on it.
Could you imagine that? $5.5 million in Newark just for an acre of
bad land. It's positioned poorly. It's too tight to turn a truck around. So it's not like it's just blank land. If it was a square as opposed to a tight rectangle, it would have sold for 6.4. So at 5.5, it is a discount.
Yeah. That's interesting. And trucks matter, obviously.
Absolutely. That's
So
Your loading docks.
going back to kind of that idea of commercial and how do you get into it and where do you go, you got to kind of pick asset classes. So like for me, I always look at it as, me personally, I'm industrial multifamily as far as I go. I don't look at office, I don't look at retail. But then when you even get into those categories, when you say industrial, it's like, okay, you're talking about warehouses, you're talking about industrial land, or the new terms iOS. So with the iOS stuff, it's all just coming down to trucks. So you should be looking at about 40 tractor trailers can park per acre. So then now you break that down and you're like, okay, well, what are you getting per parking space? So when COVID was happening, the price per truck parked was going through the roof because it was so tough to get trucks there because there was so much coming in from the port. So the price per truck was getting between $1,000 and $1,200, where historically it's between $300 and $400. So then you start doing cap rates and you're backing into it and you're going, okay, I'm making $40,000 a month an acre. That's what the acreage was starting to go for. And then you put a cap rate on that and you're like, okay, well, the acre's worth somewhere between $6 and $7 million. When I started in the industry, which I mean isn't that long ago, 2014.
When you were 12, right?
Yeah. An acre in Newark was $850,000. So in 10 years, if you bought an acre for $850,000, it's now worth $5 million. You didn't do anything. Not only did you not do anything,
You just paid
you
taxes
made
on it.
monthly. You made money every
Yeah.
month as an investment.
Yeah.
So for 10 years, you just kept putting money in your pocket, and all of a sudden, someone goes, "Okay, well, it's now worth $5 million. So you only owe $1 million. If you didn't pay any of your nut, and you took in all the money every single month, you made $4 million. So when you see stuff like that, that's where I'm like, that's where commercial to me is just a totally different animal. I just. There's not a ton of people. I mean, I know you get into more of the smaller multifamily stuff that
we
great
do that.
investments.
Yep. Our office also opened up a commercial division. We have, a couple people doing it, but, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough
again,
to get
educate
into.
yourself on it.
You got to educate yourself. They're always saying, hey, for the residential people, if you need help or whatever, we'll help you out, we'll do it. But you know what? It's tough.
Yeah.
Like every business. Residential's tough. You didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it anymore. You know what? Commercial, yeah, I like commercial too. But then you're, like you said, you're talking a cap rate. You're talking this rate. You got to figure out, hey, how much, per acre, how much is it costing me to come and put this truck in there and all that. And I like working on the weekends, so I can't.
And the time frames. I mean, I'm typically looking at best case scenario. I actually just did I closed like 2 weeks ago with a friend of yours, Mr. Hill. We did an 8-unit over
Jerry.
In Lyndhurst. Quick. He had a 1031. We had to take care of him. We had it teed up, everything. It took us like 3.5, 4 months to get it done. To me, that's lightning
that's
speed.
great. Yeah.
So it's like when you're looking at this, you're going,
Sure.
okay, I'm 8 months away. I mean, we were just talking about the one in Fairfield. I mean, I'm probably, in a best case scenario, I'm probably 18 months away. And we don't get paid till title passes. So.
Right, but your payment versus ours, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So, you can get you sell a $5 million building. Hey, that could last you, a couple months. But
If you're not stacking up a pipeline, if you're just doing one-offs, which a lot of these young guys do,
are doing, right.
And then you start looking at the time frame, you're like, well, you're making the same as minimum wage when you're like, it took me 24 months to get there. It's like, well, if you're not ready to go, now you got to wait another 24 months. It's like that $100,000 check seems great.
Yeah.
You're paying taxes on it, and you don't got anything else coming in. They're all pushed. So that's really the toughest part. I explained to a lot of the new guys that we get. I was like, you got to look at this as just you're walking down a long path. And I was like, there might be a ball in front of you. I go, sometimes you just got to punt it. I was like, you'll get to it again eventually. I was like, you just got to keep moving down that road. You got to keep getting this stuff because you never know. There's properties that I see, oh, this is a great property, but the pricing isn't right. And I'll tell the person, I was like, your pricing's not here yet. It might be in 3 years, it might be in 5 years. I was like, so if you want to put it on the market, great. I'm not that person that just puts stuff up for no reason because it's tough. It's a lot. Yeah. But 3 years, 5 years, I'm not going anywhere. So it's like you stay in touch with them and eventually it gets there. And we start seeing that. And we get a lot of listings. But how do I explain to a 22-year-old kid out of college that wants to get paid and go on vacation that he's 5 years away from selling this building?
Now, being in the commercial, end of it, how do you work on getting your listings? I'm sure that's a little bit, different than how we do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure your name's got to be out there. People,
Little
have
bit.
to know you. Or
Yeah, I would say. I mean, again, it's tough. First, going into kind of where you want to be in that world. So for me, I like sales. I didn't love the leasing side. I did some of the larger leasing stuff when I was with one of the bigger firms. It's a great business. It's tough to get started, but once you get started, there's a lot of recurring. So it's like you really build a career there. To me, I liked sales. So for me, I understood that I wanted to control the listing, meaning get the exclusive, because then I controlled the commissions. Because if I work on the buy side, and they tell me, hey, I have $5 million to spend. I go find a property, and there's 3 other offers. If I don't get my guy picked, I get nothing, and we're just back to zero. Now, if I control the listing and there's 4 offers, I could care less which one it takes. So from the standpoint of 1, controlling the listing, and then 2, having kind of that fiduciary responsibility to your client, controlling the actual listing and controlling the commission, to me, is what makes the most sense. So with that being said, what I do is you got to kind of pick a market. So my office is in Newark now. Obviously grew up in Essex County. So I'm pretty much anywhere from Newark south through Middlesex, and then west to, say, Morristown. I would love to start picking through the Passaic market, but it's just time, and there's just so many buildings. From there, I go on the public websites. I get every single piece of property that's listed as either 4B, which is industrial, or a 1, which is industrial land, or just land. And then you just go through and you call the people. Now, it's easier to call someone with a listing, because my kind of philosophy with that is, if you own something, you're a buyer. How'd you get there? Maybe they inherited it, maybe they didn't, but I mean, either way, they have a commercial real estate portfolio, even if they just have 1 building. So they might be looking to get another one. So what I do is you kind of go through there. If you're new to this, go steal someone else's listing and try to sell that. You're still going to get the buy side.
Yeah.
But if not, you have a listing, you pick your area, and you call. So I have something on New Dutch and Fairfield. What I'm going to do is send a postcard to everybody kind of in that New Dutch, Fairfield Road, all of that. They're all going to get a flyer from me. Then they're all going to get a phone call from me. Hey, this is for sale. Saw you own the area. What are you thinking? Oh, no, but I have this other building that I was looking at. And you just have to kind of become a resource, which is the tough part to kind of do when you're first starting out, because you don't know a ton, and then you can't know until you did it. So there's a lot of kind of heartache and headache in the beginning to get through it. But for me, I'm really going directly to people that I've never spoken to before. I mean, you start understanding how to read public records and how long have they owned it. They probably don't have a mortgage on this, something like that. And then you kind of target people and you call. I mean, the first company I was at, we had to do a minimum of 100 cold calls a week that they tracked. And every Friday at 4 o'clock, an Excel file would get sent to the entire thing, and it would rank everybody and where you were at. And my managing director, he would see me try to sneak out at 3:45. He's like, you better not be at the bottom of that list. And it's like, but that's what they did. And they were like, even if you're not good at this, even if you stink, even if you're nervous, if you make 100, you'll fall into something. And once you fall into something, it kind of creates something
momentum.
else. So yeah, so that's really the way I go about it, is really just old school. Like today's Monday. I'm typically on the road, just in my territory, doing nothing other than looking at buildings. You drive around. Does that look vacant? There's no car. 2 o'clock on a Monday, there's no cars there. Okay, they probably don't have a tenant. So from there, you call them. Hey, I saw that there was no one in there. My partner, Jason Marzano at PRE, he does the leasing end of it. So I go, hey, you guys want to lease? Do you need a tenant? Let me hook you up with my leasing guy. You put a leasing guy in there. You build a rapport, and then it's like, hey, look, now all of a sudden at a 7 cap rate, this thing went from 1.8 to 4.2. Now would you guys want to sell? So again, a little bit longer cultivation. But I would say the biggest thing is you really have to be a resource for them. You need to be there to help them make money. And then consequently, you'll make some money.
You'll make some money too. Oh, absolutely. Now, you were saying about exclusive before, right? I know a lot of commercial places only do exclusive listings, and they don't want to cooperate with other brokers.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? I mean, the real estate end of it in residential, we did that years ago, but it didn't work out for us. You have to put it out on the open market.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, why do you...
I'm doing an exclusive with a cooperation agreement in it. So any one of my listings, I split typically 50-50 with cooperating brokers.
Okay.
With the exclusives that do not cooperate, I do not agree with at all. The bigger shops are trying to do it. But the reason they're doing it, and we actually did a podcast that he did.
I remember this,
we probably should have never put it out because of how many names of people we were kind of talking crap about with this stuff. But they're taking extremely low commissions. They're taking between 1% and 2%. I know residential's kind of gone down a little bit. I feel like it's kind of in that 3-4.
4%.
4% is where it's living. I mean, I still try to live at 6. I will take 4. I don't have an issue with it. My argument of why I want 6 is because I want to cooperate. So there needs to be enough for me to give to the other person. But these bigger shops, kind of your big 3s, are going in 1.5% with a no cooperation agreement. And what they do, and this is, I was there, they have lists. So say you take a somewhat of a nicer 100,000 square foot warehouse in Fairfield with 30-foot clear. So you're talking about prime A stuff. They put it on the market. They're taking that lower commission rate, and they're not going to let any other broker see it or partake on it, or unless you get paid by your buyers. That's another story. I've been told I couldn't even get paid by my buyer. They wanted me to make no money.
Yeah, we can get paid by our buyers now.
Yeah, we do as well, but they just make it. But what they were doing is now they have an in-house list of buyers. So they're usually high net worth individuals, maybe private equity funds, teacher pension funds, people that have family inheritance money, stuff like that. And they would call the list and they would say, "Hey, I'm selling this building. It's $30 million." They would go through and everyone would say no. They would go, they would wait, they would call them back, and they would call the same list again. They would say it's 28 million now. No, go back. It's 26 million. No, they go back. It's 25 million. 3 people say yes. So they move the list. Now they take those 3 people. They go, "Hey, I got 3 offers at 25. Would you do 26?" You go, "Yeah, I would do 26. Yeah, I would do 26. Yeah, I would do 6." Okay, they go back. "Would you do 26.5, 26, this and that?" But you started at 30, and now we're at 26.5. So when I talk about fiduciary responsibilities, I think the fiduciary responsibility should be to that seller. Mm-hmm. So it gets kind of murky of who you're working with there, because I might have, and this has happened, where I have a buyer that's at 32,
Right.
because I have a larger scope of people that are looking at this, and they just kind of hide these things. So I don't agree with the non-cooperation agreements at all. I think it's something that needs to change. I think it's something that the real estate board should get involved with. We've tried to get sued to bring that to it, but what we found out was that they're just not passing them along.
Jason's the perfect guy for that.
Yeah, because it's just, you're not doing right. I mean, we kind of have a motto. I was like, you do right by the real estate. Like, that's how we do everything. It's like the real estate matters. Now, someone owns that real estate, and he's going to be taken care of if we do the right thing by the real estate. But if you do right by the real estate, that means you're trying to get the highest price. Put the right tenant there. Not put someone that's going to, like, I'm not going to put someone that contaminates anything or anything like that. But the price should be what the market would bear. So, yeah, so these kind of non-cooperation agreements they're out there.
Yeah, I called on 1 or 2, and I got that we're not cooperating. If you want to bring your buyer, you got to get paid by them or whatever.
Was that the scammer guy? Vito had a fake buyer. Remember, he was like worth like $100 million or something.
Yeah, no,
I've had a few of those.
Yeah, this was on a commercial side, but you go back and you say, wait a minute, why can't I show it? Why wouldn't you pay? Well, you know what?
Almost hurts the market.
It does hurt the market.
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
Because now they want that buyer to call them directly and make their 1.5% or 2% or whatever.
It's about the broker first, not the property.
Right. That's the way they look at it.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like you said, look, you're supposed to help out your seller
100%.
and get them the most possible money by just taking it as exclusive, charging them less commission. You're hurting them.
Yeah.
You're not helping them.
Trying to wait them out till they need to get
Right.
sold, and then they
That's
go, you know
it.
what, just sell it for the 25
$5
and be done
million,
with it.
right, and be done with
Exactly.
it. Yeah,
And we do.
And that's your comp now too, when it could have been 32.
Right.
Yeah.
Or here, you got the 20. All right, sell it for the 25 million. We're going to give you, your 2%, not even 1.5%, 2%. Well, guess what? You had a buyer for 32 million. You could have paid me 6%, still been ahead of the game by 5 million.
100%.
But people don't look at that. You know?
No, it's very short-sighted. The amount of people that where the broker takes control of the property with the exclusive is just baffling to me. I mean, we saw one. They had signed an exclusive with this firm for their office building they own. It was a little bit of a larger firm. They were moving like marine equipment for heavy construction sites. So they had an office building, and then they owned a nice 4-acre site over in Newark. When they signed the leasing exclusive for their office building, it covered all of their real estate holdings in perpetuity. So when we showed up and gave them an offer, they were like, oh, well, we're bound by our exclusive that we signed in 2016. And I was like, well, that's crazy. I was like, you should have never signed that. I was like, there's like these evergreen clauses that I've been told that they don't hold up in court, but I mean, you start signing paper, you start signing paperwork and people just get nervous. So like our exclusive, like I said, I cooperate with other brokers 99% of the time. It's at a 50-50 split. My exclusive is a 6-month exclusive with a 30-day out at any point for any reason. So it's really a month to month. So I was like, we just made it performance based. I was like, give me a shot. And 9 times out of 10, they give us the shot and they go, oh yeah, we want to stay with you. We want to continue going with it. So we're trying to kind of bring back that idea of like, I used to say there's something happened in like the 90s and 2000s where everybody like thought brokers were like used car salesmen and they don't trust them anymore.
Yeah.
And I get it. I see it. I work for some of these guys. So now we're just trying to do it that way. And I mean, we have good success with it. I mean, the problem is just volume. I mean, I think the biggest with someone like you who's great at residential and have been doing this for a while, you're working on a ton of volume. You're moving houses.
Right. You got to keep moving and shaking. I mean, here you're selling a $5 million building. I'm
Takes
selling
18 months.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm selling a $300,000 condo.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not carrying more. I'm pretty much. I think 6 is right around the line. Somewhere between 6 and 8 listings at a time. Where now if you add anything more, now you're taking away from another one. So it's like I don't have a ton of listings. And I do that purposely because I'm like, hey, if you need me, this is a long drawn out. There's going to be environmental that you don't know about. There's going to be architecturals, engineering, city planning. I'm there for all that. I know how to do that. We have contacts. We build up with these townships, the economic development committee. So it's like we're full service on all that. We don't got a ton of guys, so I can't be doing this on 12, 15 properties. But when you look at these big teams, at these big companies, and there's 15, you see traded on on Instagram, and they show the team, and you go, "There's 32 guys. What did everybody get? $15?" So it's tough.
It's true.
Or they just keep trying to get the listings, and you're doing a disservice, you know, for your seller.
For your seller, the market, the whole thing.
What are your expenses on your listings? Usually,
I mean,
it's probably cheaper than residential.
Yeah, to some degree, yeah, it depends. I mean, we'll do. It depends. It depends the listing.
Yeah,
I mean,
what it is.
Everything's kind of unique. They're all different. We will do the drone videos and all that stuff and put it up. I mean, but it's really our in-house marketing and the websites we use. So I mean, if you
it's going to CoStar too, right?
If you're factoring CoStar, RealNext, Crexy, Build Out, I mean, we're probably looking at say $20,000 a year, which isn't crazy when you say you get one listing and it kind of covers your costs. So it's really not much.
Yeah.
Now, like for something like again New Dutch and Fairfield, where I want to hit that market again, I want to let everybody know. We'll do postcards. So postcards cost me about $1.50 per postcard. So there might be 400 buildings in the market. It's really like $400 or $500, but it's really not crazy. So we also take all that on. We're not putting any of that back on the seller. I know a lot of places kind of like build these marketing things and they add it to the commission at the end. Again, we're getting paid well.
Sure.
I'm not going to take, if we're going to be arguing on a 2% commission on something that's $1 million, the headaches that I'm probably going to be going to try to get this thing across the finish line, it's like that's kind of the litmus test.
It's like going, okay, yes, we just sold your building for $5 million. Okay, I'm getting my 2%. It's $100,000. By the way, I sent out 400 postcards. You owe me $500.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
People actually do that?
Of course.
Oh, of course.
That's insane.
Of course.
What about you? Like on the residential side, like per listing, if the listing is let's say $800,000.
Yeah, you don't go back and ask the seller, hey.
No, but for like, what's like your expenses on a listing like that?
It all depends. I mean, naturally, you're getting the photos done. Naturally, sometimes you want to do the drone shots.
Yeah.
You want to a lot of people in our office, they're doing videos and getting the videos out there. So it could be a couple $1,000 a listing to do that. We have one guy in our office that loves getting, lunch trucks out there to do, realtor open houses. It's not cheap.
No.
But sometimes, even with a lunch truck or, okay, I'm going to do this with a lunch truck and I'm going to have all these realtors come and I'm going to feed.
The food.
They're coming for the food. They're not coming to come and take a look at that house. I love it where sometimes I'll get a seller, hey, are you going to do a realtor open house? Are you going to have, lunch? Are you going to have drinks? Are you going to have this? And I'll scratch my head. I said, yeah, to feed all these other realtors that really are coming for the food. They're not coming. If they have a buyer for your house, they're coming to look at that house.
Yeah.
You know, we just had somebody that did, I'm not mentioning any names, but they did a big open house weekend on a house and sending postcards out to the whole neighborhood, sending, emails out, and yeah, there's a line of people going in the door. It's all the neighbors walking around the neighborhood. Oh, they're gonna give us a glass of rosé wine. I'm gonna have sip and swirl ice cream. Wow, this is great.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the realtors, everybody's like, wow, how'd that realtor do that? At the end of the day, did you get any buyers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't be calling me, what did your buyer think? If, you just had a big open, weekend open house.
Everybody talk to you. They're sitting at work all day, sitting on Zillow looking at houses anyway. So it's like, you want to find it, you're going to find it.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll send a listing to my buyers. Hey, I can show you, or they're having an open house this weekend. Hey, Vito, I'll just go to the open house. Don't worry about it. If we like it, we'll go back again. Or I had a buyer yesterday. Hey, I can't go till after the open house. No big deal. We'll go after.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy how every agency, every agent, goes out there and tries to make it look like they do so much more.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
it's a hot market.
Right, but it's a hot market to begin with.
Yes.
Okay.
Just throw it up there.
Throw it up there. Do your regular, advertising. Do what you do best, your marketing. Yes, I do a lot of marketing, and that's why I do a lot of business. But don't just put it out there just to get 500 people coming through that. I'm just exaggerating. 500 people
could be.
Yeah.
To come through that house. For what?
Yeah.
You're dirty in my house, number one.
I was just about to say.
Okay? If I was the seller, why the hell would you do that? Now I got, people coming through my house, and, half of them, 90% of them aren't interested.
No.
But they're coming in there because I'm a neighbor, and they just want to look at, how I live.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
It's a waste of time.
I mean,
It's a big waste of time.
And you feel obligated to service the people that give you the names and numbers even when they're window shoppers. So, there's times where, so typically the way I'm putting something online, if I get, especially if you're in that kind of million to say 2 million range, where it's kind of attainable to someone that, look, you're 55 years old and you have a job, you probably could go get some type of loan to purchase $1 million business if there's a little bit of cash flow. Whether or not you should or could is a whole other question. Yeah. So with stuff like that, I'm slow playing putting it online because I'm like, I have an in-house database of 25,000 buyers that I built up. I want them to see it first.
Right.
The problem is that the LoopNets, the CoStars, the Zillows, they do so much marketing and they force these people. So the first thing I do when my person signs the exclusive, I go, hey, look, give me a couple days, I'm gonna put together the marketing, this and that. First thing they do, they go home and they Google it.
Oh yeah, and they're calling you.
And when it doesn't show up, not only does it not show up, and this is my issue with CoStar and LoopNet, is not only does it not show up on LoopNet when you type in the name, it shows up and says not currently for sale. Mm-hmm. So now they turn around and they go, why is it not LoopNet? Because I was like, because it's $125 a listing, and I don't get any good people from it. I was like, it's all window shoppers. But they kind of put you in this position to kind of force you to put it up because that's what they expect. And it's like, well, then your marketing costs kind of get there.
They control the traffic.
Oh, yeah. It's...
Right. And speaking about LoopNet, anybody can go on LoopNet.
Yeah.
It could be a buyer, a realtor, or whatever. But now, like you said, it's going to cost you $125 just to put it on LoopNet.
Yep. This has been my question. It goes that's the MLS, right? You're talking about?
No.
So you're not using the MLS.
I don't use the MLS.
So for residential side, when you post it on the MLS, why is it automatically connected to Zillow?
Zillow just
that's obviously it's illegal to do that, but wouldn't the boards want to not have that happen so they run the traffic to the MLS?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Why put it on Zillow? Why? Because Zillow's grabbing all those listings. Zillow's going to these agents and saying, okay, I'm going to sell you the Fairfield zip code, okay? Yep. And I'm going to sell you that Fairfield zip code for $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month.
Fortune.
Okay, so it's a fortune just to buy that zip code. Meanwhile, they'll do 3 agents. They'll guarantee them, I think, 2 leads or whatever the hell it is a month.
Sure.
Meanwhile, half of these agents have no idea of anything in Fairfield. Why but
The realtors are hurting themselves.
They're hurting themselves by
Makes no sense.
you know doing it. And the other thing Zillow did was, if you're not really paying for it or whatever, they put all the other agents on the back burner.
For sure.
Because years ago, you would put my name in Zillow, and I'd be the top agent in Fairfield, and it'd show everything, right?
Yeah.
Now, I never paid for Zillow and never will pay for Zillow.
Yeah.
But you type in my name now, it might not even show me as a realtor anymore.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I don't know why the boards allow all
yeah,
of that.
why-
I think it had something to do with that NAR lawsuit. There was something with Zillow and Homes.com. But we just did, so me, two of my buddies, we had a townhome in Madison we were looking to sell. And we were like, the comps were more than we even wanted in the area.
Mm-hmm.
We're all kind of connected to real estate. We kind of know what we're doing. We were like, we'll do this for sale by owner. And this was this was end of April going into May. And I guess all the rules for Zillow changed in May or something like that. First off, I was getting between 15 and 20 phone calls a day from brokers
Oh, yeah.
who didn't have a client. They would just call me and say, I saw you had a for sale by owner. I was just calling to see if you'd be willing to take a meeting to let us put it up for you for 1%. I was like, do you have any buyers? And they're like, well, once you give us a listing, we'll have buyers. And I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And
I'll have my own buyers without.
and it just kept going on to the point. And then we talked to Zillow, and if you're on for sale by owner, it only shows up if you search it direct. You can't save it. So if you're looking around in the area and you put, I want to save this one, all the for sale by owners, next time you open your save searches, doesn't show up. So they eventually just beat us down, and we hired a broker and we put it up. But it was just like they're now they let the technology take over, and now they're letting the technology kind of manipulate this, and it's just
They educated the consumer so much where in some scenarios, like the car, like we were talking about before, where you always need a realtor, but they know just as much as the professional.
Oh, yeah. And the, it's crazy with Zillow because you try to call them up and say, hey, there's a mistake with this. Good luck.
Oh,
You'll never get through.
they won't let me take down the for sale by owner.
Yeah,
So I had to have
never-
two concurrent listings. Now, luckily, they're hiding one because it's for sale by owner. But we had two running at the same time when we hired the broker. They wouldn't let me take it down. There was no one to talk to.
And why didn't you call me as the broker?
We owed a favor. We owed a favor.
But another time, right, Zillow, I think I mentioned this once before, is I get a call from a buyer, okay? And they go, Vito, I can't believe you didn't tell me about this listing. I go, what listing? In Fairfield, such and such address, whatever. And you're the listing agent. Why wouldn't you call me? You're my guy. I said, because it's not for sale. It's for sale. Zillow has it for sale. I go, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I go on Zillow.
And it was
The
for sale.
listing was showing up for sale. Meanwhile, I had rented that listing out a couple years ago. It was for sale, but we rented it instead. They come back and just put it up for sale.
Yeah.
Wait, was your for sale by owner on Zillow as well?
It wasn't a for sale by owner.
No,
I
with
never
your
did.
home.
I never. Oh no, the one where you put the sign on, you and his father. No.
You know what happened? April Fool's Day a couple years ago, we're down in Florida, so I had his partner at the time, Nina, put a for sale by owner sign on his front lawn. How many phone calls did you get?
My phone did not stop. But picture, I'm right on the park, right on Hollywood Ave. Your dad's like, yeah, but there's a sign up. I go,
There's no sign.
there's no sign. I go, yes, there is. And it had this number on there, for sale by owner. I go, I'm a realtor. First thing I would do is put my real estate company sign on there, not mine. Well, I want a ranch. You sure? I go, where am I going to go? I have a house down the shore. We'll do a swap. I go, I don't want to go down the shore. All my family's up here in Fairfield.
Didn't you have clients texting you too?
Yeah. Then another guy, right? I was with him the night, one or two nights before, and I was joking around saying, hey, I'm going to build a house in Montville. I'm going to move out of Fairfield, joking around, right? And he goes, really, if you ever want to sell your house, please let me know. I have a relative that's really interested in it. Yeah, no worries, man. You'll be the first one. I get a phone call. I can't believe you put a for sale by owner sign on. Why are you doing this to me? I told you I had a buyer. I go, what are you talking about? There's a sign on your front lawn. My
John,
wife
I
wasn't
couldn't
home. I had to
breathe.
call my daughter. She's FaceTiming me. She goes, "Yeah, look." I'm like, "You suck." I knew it was him
Yeah,
right away.
obviously.
Right away.
Anybody, it's him.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, it was very funny.
That was good.
And sometimes, then my wife's like, "Well, I know we had an argument this morning, but what the hell
What the heck is it? Moving out.
We're moving."
I think you'd be good with commercial real estate, though. You're good with finance and numbers.
With all that, yes. But a lot of times, like John's saying, it's more difficult for a residential guy
To transfer
into commercial or to find stuff in commercial.
Yeah.
Like I have good friends of mine that are looking for commercial property.
Yeah.
And, I always do the residential for them. And I'm up front with them. I'm saying, look, I'll see what I can do, but I'm going to give someone else, in my office that does strictly commercial. I hope you don't mind, but he's going to be able to find more stuff for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And help you out a lot better than I can.
Yeah.
And you're being honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose a $5 million building and whatever.
No,
but you have to. You're doing the right thing for your
client, because it's apples and oranges. So it's like I don't feel comfortable doing residential. Like I said, I've done 2 in the last probably 10 years, and it was like kind of people that I knew, family favorites, that just kind of talked me into it. And I was like, I'm doing you a disservice. I told them the same thing. I said, I can't. I was helping someone buy a beach house down the shore. I'm sending in LOIs to people. And the guys are going, what the hell is there? They're going, just sign the contract. I go, we didn't even discuss the LOI yet. You want me to sign the contract? And it's like, they're not the same. So it's tough. And you really should be, especially because we're in the service industry, you should be spending all your day and time honing this skill for them.
Right. What
so to kind
doing.
of the people that try to bounce back and forth, what we've seen, typically, if they spread themselves too thin, they don't make it. The ones that just fully commit to one or the other.
Right. You got to do one thing, and you got to.
Would you commit to all asset classes?
No.
Just those 2?
I wouldn't even commit to 2. Until you've completely mastered one.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming, the amount. I mean, like I said, I have if I was on my computer right now, there'd be a list that's in front of me that's probably somewhere between 3,500 to 5,500 properties.
Yeah.
Every single one of those I think I could sell. Now, if I sell 8 of those a year, I'm buying a boat. So it's like and that's just industrial. That's not doing another asset class. That's not touching outside of the counties I just talked about. Yeah. So it's like there's just so much. So I would learn one, figure out what you want to do with it, and become an expert at it before you even thought about starting.
Because the clients too, if they've been doing this for 20, 30 years, they know all the product.
Well, just the other thing is, who do you want as far as like your list? So I have a CRM where if I get a listing, typically I'm taking a listing. If I do a broker opinion of value, so I tell you how much it's worth. If you agree to the number, I typically know who's going to purchase it or how quickly I can sell it based on that number within my CRM. But that's because my CRM's stacked with buyers. Now Jason, my partner's CRM, is full of tenants. So if he gets that same listing, he's not remotely as able to sell that as I am. So it like stuff like that, where it's like when you're building this, what data are you collecting? And it's like how point is that data going to be for what you want? So if I'm looking at a multifamily buyer, I mean, you know this because you deal with a lot of these multifamily guys. They're not looking at industrial. They don't want to deal with industrial.
They don't believe it.
Yeah, they don't want to look at all. So if you're in industrial, and if I'm going to do industrial, office, and multifamily, well, I have to stack all these buyers. So instead of getting 100 industrial buyers, so when I get one industrial listing, I'm getting 33. I'm getting 33, and I'm getting 33. So I wouldn't spread myself thin.
True.
Like I said, I would pick an asset, I would pick an area, and then you decide whether you're doing sales or leasing. And then once you do that, spend 3, 5, 7, 10 years until you're dominating at it. And then from there, it's like, okay, you'll get opportunities. I mean, I was doing multifamily when I was doing industrial because you talk to someone that has a portfolio. Hey, can you sell this for me? Yeah. You go through it, you learn. But spreading yourself thin like that, it's going to be a disservice to you and your client because it's so data driven at this point, and how much you have really matters of what you're looking at. And if it's looking in a million directions, it doesn't matter.
Who's the biggest multifamily guy in New Jersey?
Vito Contusi.
I mean, there's big teams. It depends. Like again, from what aspect you're kind of in the. I would say you're in the 2 to 6, 8 to 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to institutional.
Yeah.
So it's like each one of those has an entire economy and ecosystem. So there's brokers in there, there's buyers in there. So the beauty and the reason I like to work on what's called middle markets. So you're talking your B's to D's as far as asset class goes.
It goes down to D?
Mine do.
Never A. You hear that? It's always, it starts with B. No A.
Well, because the A's, you're talking institutional quality. And when there's A buyers for A buildings. But when the interest rates go up or the economy's going down, the A buildings don't make sense because the margin's so tight. So you're talking about 4% cap rates, 5% cap rates. And when interest rates are at 8.5%, I can't lose 4.5% just on a cap rate basis. They're doing a lot more math than that. But when they can't afford A, they don't stop buying. They just move to B. So if you're living in B, C, D world, kind of that middle market stuff, you're pretty much recession proof. Now, the bottom guys can't afford anymore, but the big guys aren't going to stop buying. They're just going to stop buying the Class A stuff. Yeah, that's kind of how this whole thing works. So you could kind of put yourself in this kind of recession-proof industry where you're selling at the top of the market and you're selling at the bottom of the market. Like for me, the top of the market's actually a lot tougher to sell. I mean, when Fairfield's humming, their industrial's operating at somewhere between like a 2 and 3% vacancy rate. Who's selling? Who's leasing? Yeah. Nobody's doing anything. There's one guy that might get a good listing, but the owner knows that everybody wants it, so he goes, "Hey, I know you can sell it. I know you can sell it. I couldn't." So he goes, "Will you take 1%?" He goes, "I'm not taking 1%." He goes, "Will you take 1%?" He goes, "I don't think you take 1%." He goes, "Yeah, I'll take 1%." Yeah. Great. I'm priced out of the market. So typically, like people are like, I missed the wave of after 06, 07. The top of the market's not as great. It's just as bad as the bottom of the market. So like you said, you kind of pick your area, pick what you want to do, and you kind of live in there, and you learn about it. And then you can branch out and you can do other stuff. But yeah, it's the commercial end of it. There's just so much to it that like they just kind of blanket term it with commercial, and there's really nowhere to learn. I mean that's really been like my biggest thing, and that's why I've kind of gravitated towards like podcasts and stuff like that, is like trying to figure this stuff out and where these other guys are. Because there's really nothing out there to teach you.
Especially for industrial.
I just think commercial in general. I mean, at some point, office is going to make a comeback. I mean, we're talking about $100 million buildings that are sitting there that
the land's
are now
more
worth
than the structure.
Yeah, but we can't knock them all down and turn them into multifamily.
Yeah.
So, again, office might stink, but for the right price, it's great.
Yeah, for sure.
A $100 million building, I'm not buying office. $40, you're buying office. So it's like it's all just the economics of it. So eventually, it'll come back. Who's teaching people to do office right now? Because they're all retiring and no one else is coming up.
Now, what are you finding with a lot of people with the 1031 exchange, right? And if you can mention and talk a little bit about it, how to do it, how you're going to do it, when you got to do it, and whatever. But I'm finding, and I'm hearing a lot of people on a 1031 are just buying anything just 1% cap rate, or 2% cap rate, whatever.
Which isn't, I mean... So it's a 1031 exchange or a like-kind exchange is you're deferring your capital gains on a property you purchased. You're kind of kicking the can down the road. So instead of paying, what is it? I think it's 37% or the long-term capital gains, somewhere around there. Instead of paying that at the sale. So if I bought something for $1 million and I sold it for $5 million, I have capital gains of $4 million. Instead of paying the capital gains on that $4 million, I could take that entire sum, reinvest it into real estate, which is why
it's got to still be $5 million or better, correct?
It could be whatever.
It's the amount that you have as the capital gains. You don't have to do the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So if your capital gain is $4 million, even though you sold it for $5 million, you only have to spend $4
million. You could spend the $4 million. You could spend $2 million and pay the capital gains on the other one.
Yeah. Right. And then, okay. So you're only. I didn't know that,
split,
which is good.
Yeah.
Where you only have to pay on you only have to buy on what your capital gain
of what you're going to pay on. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So and then they have stuff. So because it's tough sometimes. So say I got $4 million in capital gains. I find a building that's 3.5. Now I have 500,000. So now they have something that's called a DST, a Delaware Statutory Trust. It's kind of like a REIT. You could put kind of that excess into there. So there's ways that you could do it.
Or just pay the capital gain
or you pay the tax. So yeah, I mean,
Come on, you're making $4 million. What do you care if you're paying a couple $100,000? Come on.
Agreed. It depends.
You want
Are
you
you
want the
cashing out? Or
volume.
are you staying in real estate? So me and my buddies, we bought a house in 2014 in Newark, a 2-family. We sold it, 1031'd. We kind of we called it kind of getting the new Kermit crab shell.
Mm-hmm.
We bought a building in Madison, put tenants in on it. We're selling that right now. We're all kind of, the next step up is going to put us kind of in like the $1.4 million range, and we're going to have to come out of pocket even with the 1031. And we're all just kind of in financial places in our life where we're like, probably not gonna, because we really didn't put anything when we started. So we're cashing out. We're going to pay the taxes on it.
Yeah.
So at that point, we'll make some decent money. We'll pay some tax. It'll be fine. But if you're in this kind of real estate world where you're like, I'm just looking to keep building and
That's the
buying
game.
units, it's a great way to go about it. Now, what you were saying about people buying these kind of 1 caps and 2 caps or whatever it is, I see people that they kind of get talked into, go buy a Dollar General in Arkansas or an Avis Auto Buy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, corporate guaranteed leases, so like you're kind of locked in there, but like I look at real estate investment is kind of 2 avenues. There's cash flow or there's appreciation. I don't agree with doing the 2 together. I think it's a bad idea. So either I'm buying a building and I'm taking the cash out monthly and we're going and it's kind of just a little cash cow for me and we go and hopefully over time it appreciates, but that's not really the goal here. Or you're buying this because you're like long term. I want to buy it at $800,000. I want to sell it at $5 million. We'll just keep investing into the property and buying down your loans and all that stuff like that.
Doing it that way.
So if you're looking at doing a 1031 and throwing it into a Pep Boys in Omaha, Nebraska at a 4.5% cap rate with 5 fully corporate guaranteed leases with 5-year terms, 5-year terms. So you're like, okay, I'm locked in there. So the corporately guaranteed leases, if the tenant went under or that franchise went under, the company, the parent body, would pay the remaining balance of that term. But if it's 5 years and you're on year 1, they pay the whole thing out, but you don't get the other 3 terms. Is that thing going to appreciate? Probably not. So now you're looking at it and going, okay, it's a cash play. Well, pay the taxes and go put it in the market at 8% or 7% when you're in that kind of.
Right.
So I don't personally agree with these people that are cashing out and going. There's a couple good companies. I won't mention them, brokerages that have kind of a built-in like 1031 structure where they kind of like bring in their clients as they sell out, and they get these. They kind of get these listings that are corporate listings that you could do it to. I don't hate it. Look, generational wealth, you want to pass it down to your kids and you want something that's locked in there where you're not really looking at it and you pass it on, it's great. But I think we've all kind of fallen victim to this idea that like not paying any taxes is the best way to go about it. And it's just like there's other ways to invest. And if you're not kind of that savvy with real estate, why are you putting it back into real estate? Because you're probably not putting it back in there. Go pay a good financial advisor, and you can kind of work your way back. And you have the cash.
Agree. Yeah,
it's not tied up.
I agree, because a lot of times, like you said, people are, well, I'm going to keep it into real estate or I'm going to give it to the kids or whatever. We were talking about it before. These kids don't want to get into the business you're in. No. You know, is your kid going to go and call this guy and say, hey, you know what? Your toilet doesn't work. Like we talked with Mark, you know, our friend Mark, and, you know, he owns a ton of real estate, but, you know, you got to worry about this guy's toilet not working. Now you got to make that phone call. You're getting a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. For what? You know what? You might be better off, like you said, you know what? Cash out. Give the kids the cash. You already paid the taxes on it or whatever,
100%.
and you're done. Why go out and say, okay, I just sold my building for $3 million, right? And I'm making good money on it. So now I made $2 million profit on it.
Yeah.
Now I got to go buy something else and spend $2 million.
why'd you sell?
I'm not making any money. Why the hell did I sell?
What did I sell? Because because that one's probably still going up now. Again, timing wise and everything. But I mean. But 20 years ago, who would have thought that shopping malls would be gone? So it's like you're buying these things that you think are, they're no brainer. Right. I mean, what was it? Matt Cali was the largest real estate company in New Jersey. It was big. They owned the office building. They're gone. So it's just like who sees these trends coming? I mean, we have industrial is
Never
kind
going
of
anywhere.
For now. I mean, but we're seeing kind of an e-commerce push, which is because we're buying everything at home now, so retail's disappearing. So it's like, who knows where these things will be. So if you're looking on these really long-term time horizons, do it from a place of understanding real estate. Don't sell your real estate and someone told you to 1031, so you're signing these long-term corporate guarantees. And again, these areas that you're not even, because that's typically what I see, because you're not getting a corporate guarantee in Jersey unless you got serious money. And if you got serious money, why are you buying that?
Right. Or you got people that own a multifamily, right? And they've owned it for so many years.
Yeah.
And now it's time to say, okay, maybe I'll sell it, I'll do a 1031, or I'll just keep renting it out. The rents are going up. The rents are not going to keep going up. There's gonna be a point where the rents are not gonna keep going up. You're gonna keep needing to do work to the house.
Yep.
Why? Your market is up here now. Why not just get out?
Yeah.
Don't worry about the 1031. You know what? You're getting top dollar now. Get out, cash out, pay the whatever it is in taxes. Call it a day.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think, like I said, I think we just got tricked into this idea that that's what the big guys do and they don't pay taxes, so I shouldn't pay taxes. And it's like, yeah, they're not, that money's not real to them. Like, this money's everything to you.
Right, absolutely.
Especially, again, in what you're talking about, someone that's owned it for a long time, maybe they inherited it, maybe they bought it a long time ago. It's like they're towards the end of their life. Not the end of their life, but the tail end of their working life. So it's like,
why not take the money?
Why not take the money?
It?
What are you waiting on? Yeah, no, I agree with that fully. But going back to the rentals and the housing prices, and again, I don't track this market like you do. I can't. It's still crazy, and it's not getting crazy. And I mean, I did a podcast with Crexy about 6 months ago, and we were talking about kind of the industrial market and this and that. And I went back. I wanted to make a point about the interest rates going. I went back and I looked. The interest rates went up 11 times between like February 2023 and like July 2024. The prices didn't skip a beat.
They kept going up.
They went up.
So I just and if you look at, like, not that I'm overly political, but you kind of being in these industries, you're watching trends, you got to read stuff. I mean, the thing that seems to be like this simmering idea that people are really talking about that no one's bringing up is the affordable housing crisis. And I don't mean affordable housing in the idea of like low income housing. I'm talking about your average entry level. Your old, they used to be $200,000, maybe $330,000 starter homes are now $675 and moving upwards.
Yeah.
How does that get fixed?
Can't.
And is it just going to have to be a black swan event that ruins the market? Because I mean, all these people have mortgages that locked in at 5.5%. So it's like I can't lose
materials too
30%. I mean, 30-40% of my value.
Oh yeah.
So do you? I don't know. This is something that I kind of wrestle with like on a daily basis, and I just don't understand what could possibly happen.
I was talking to a mortgage guy, right? And we're talking, hey, I had somebody that, called, wants a refinance. Meanwhile, their rate's 3%. Now, how are you going to refinance from 3% to 7%? Okay. Well, why do you need to refinance? Well, everything's been going up, cars have been going up, gas has been going up, groceries have been going up, credit card bills keep stacking up. I need, to pay it. Now, think about that. If you bought a house and you were paid 3% interest rate, right? Mm-hmm. You bought that house when the house market was a little bit lower.
Lower, yeah.
All right? Now the house market's up here and your interest rate's up at 7%. If people can't do it at a 3% interest rate where the market was a lot lower, how the hell are people doing it now at 7% with the market even higher?
Yeah.
Something's got to give.
Yeah. I always said that all the people that our age that are going out there, they buy a home, I go, you better love that home. Because you're never getting out.
You don't know.
Prisoner.
Right.
Because the only way
100%
for the market to keep moving, it seems like, I don't know. I don't really understand the economics of this stuff, but it's like, it seems like the prices need to drop for people to be able to continue doing this.
Right.
But if the prices drop, the value in your house goes down.
Yes.
And you're probably pretty high leverage because you're walking in there at a 7.2% interest rate. So it's like if you lose that value in the house, now you can sell it at a loss. You can go buy another house.
You can't sell 3%. It at a loss, especially if you put 5% down, 10% down. I'm getting into that because there was an article on CNBC. today. And today is what? July 14th.
14th, yep.
Nearly 1/3 of major U.S. housing markets now see falling home prices.
That's national, yeah.
Okay, national. We're okay because it says prices are still seeing big gains in the Northeast and the Midwest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're still okay, but you're now when the news media gets into it. Now, people reading this article without clicking on it are going to call you as a
Headlines,
realtor. The headline, hey, prices are falling. When is
100%.
that guy going to reduce or what?
Troy,
We're not
clip that.
reducing here.
Clip that, Troy. That's important, though.
It is important because people are going to look at that article and say, hey, Vito, prices, 1/3 of the major U.S. housing see falling prices. Yeah, click on the article, not in the Northeast. Everywhere else.
Even if they fall, I mean, we're still looking. If they drop by 20%, then I've been having this argument with a lot of the guys with industrial. Because, like I said, you go back to, let's say, before COVID, 2017, 2018, price per acre in Nork had gone up dramatically. It got to about $2 million an acre. There was like this.
How long ago?
2017, 2018,
Okay.
before COVID. There was like this mythical, there was a spot that sold for $2.5 million, but no one really knew where it was, and it was just kind of but that was kind of the new benchmark. And if you're doing kind of iOS in the Northeast, Nork is kind of like ground zero, and so your highest prices are going to be there from a truck parking standpoint. Then COVID happens, and we reopen from COVID, and interest rates are low, and money's cheap, and they're handing stuff out, and the ports are packed, so we got to get this stuff moving. And we jumped, and we went 3 million, 3.5, 4 million, 4.5. We got all the way up to about 6.4 before things started.
Crazy.
There were some things that were on the market. Now prices start dropping, interest rates go up, and again, if something that big is falling, it kind of drags the whole sector down. So now you fast forward, and I'm dealing with these guys that we have a guy in Edison that we were trying to sell his property. When I met him in 2018, he wanted $6 million, but didn't want to pay. He wanted $6 million clean. So he was like, anything above that is yours for your commission. We're like, okay, yeah. And then we were got him an offer. Then he went up to 6.8. And the market was moving with him. So now we got him 8.2. I eventually got him an offer for 11.5. And he passed.
From 6 million.
From 6 million. Now it's fallen the other way. His property's worth probably somewhere between 7.2 and 8 something. To him, he's going,
He has
I'm
11
losing,
in his mind.
losing $5 million. I'm like, no, you're not. I was like, not only are you making 2.5 more than your 6, I was like, it's still a great price that it went down. So I think going back to that, where they're like, housing prices are dropped, the buyers are going to be pissed. And it's like, you're still 40%. Your house went up 40. It went up 60%. Now it's up 40, and you're mad.
Yeah.
And it's like the psychology of this stuff. But like I said, I'm curious how we get past this, because it just seems like the housing is just getting crazier and crazier. I mean, I see mine in Montclair. They're all doubled. All the prices of the condos I live in
more.
have at least,
Oh, yeah, even more than double.
have at least doubled. And it's just like, that's not how it works.
The combination of material costs, and I think in the next 5 to 10 years, for an electrician to come to your home to fix an outlet is going to cost a fortune, because less people are getting out of the trades. So you have a combination of higher expenses, high purchase price. Then you look at the cost to build. So you have a builder that, let's say, puts $1 million for the land and $500,000 for, to build the thing. You have to be getting 20, 30, 40% on your money for you to go through the whole entire process.
Oh, at least.
And we all know trades, plumbers, electricians, cost of everything tripled, quadrupled. It's a problem.
But what you're saying...
Because we go back to affordable housing.
Yeah, but what you're saying doesn't answer
Correlate.
it. It's what you're saying is making the price goes up. You're talking about less supply, higher cost of entry.
Exactly.
So you're telling me Fairfield used to be a great kind of first home, starter home type market. It was kind of
not anymore.
a couple 100,000. So you're telling me the houses that were $335 years ago and that are $675 today are going to be $1.2 million in the next 7 years? That's crazy.
I don't see it, but
I don't
but a lot of people, like the Wizard, sees that. A lot of other people I talk to, not only inventory, but the prices of everything that just keep going up and up. But you reach a point. How much higher can it go?
Without the only thing that I've been able to kind of look at it and say, okay, well, this would make sense, is if they completely raised the wages of the entire, like we have
Right.
to raise the entire.
Oh,
so if
yeah.
you're making 100,000 now, you got to be making 250, and the 60,000's got to be $180, and it's just like that
That's
doesn't-
not happening.
That's
No,
not happening.
It's not, and then prices have to readjust again. They're going to go up even higher.
Yeah. So
What's
But-
credit card
but-
debt
so-
at today?
So what's it going to end up being? You're going to have the poor and the upper class. No more middle class,
yeah,
right? If it keeps going like this,
Guess what
yeah,
credit
the-
card debt is today? Take a guess.
how many trillion?
You're at 1.21 trillion
Yeah.
in credit card debt.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But again, not a hiccup in the housing market.
Yeah, I think it comes down to just inventory. So I think this area is. Let's look at the
But
density. Didn't we go over this? For the
yeah,
last one?
we're starting to see a little bit more inventory coming on, but as soon as the inventory comes on, if it's
goes.
priced right, it goes. But still, people are out there trying to put their houses up a lot higher, and the buyers are a little bit more educated now and saying, you know what, I'm not paying that kind
Yeah.
of money for that house. And all of a sudden, you're seeing these houses sit a little bit, and you're seeing the price reductions.
You got to make it
because-
easier to build in these areas. It's too hard to build.
No, agreed. That seems
Environmental
to
has to
be
change. There's things that have to change.
that seems to be kind of the issue is that we need to just put more product out there.
For sure.
There's no one talking about that or doing anything
No,
about
nothing.
No.
Nothing's going on about it. It's got to
it.
change.
And if they do anything, again, it's at the total bottom end of the spectrum where they're dealing with kind of that affordable, the HUDs, the low income stuff
Right.
like that, which again is again a dire need. It needs to be done.
It definitely needs
But
to be done.
there's also the other 60% of the market's like in just as bad shambles because their stuff's not getting subsidized, and it's just, I mean, which is then just kind of forcing. I just saw a rental again. We're selling in Madison, but we just looked at what the comp was for if we were like, oh, God forbid we don't get an offer, we'll just re-rent it. The one doesn't have a basement like we do, they got $6,000 a month. I was like, that's nuts.
That is
man.
crazy.
I just listed a multifamily I'm going to be putting on the market this week in Harrison.
Okay.
It's actually 2 single-family homes on one lot,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. You have the front house, you have the back house, and the back house is it's unbelievable. Totally redone, but it's a 1-bedroom, two full baths. And the front house, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. I'm putting it on the market for $599. Let the fun begin.
What town is this?
Harrison, right
in
by
Harrison?
the path. You can walk to the path.
Yeah, that's going to go crazy.
All right. You can walk to the path by naturally Red Bull Stadium. Everything is there. But again, you want to, as an agent, you want to price it where this is a starting point.
Yeah.
And let's see
Where it
where we
goes.
can get it.
Let's,
Yeah,
all right,
you
so
know?
let's take a let's
Let's not say here. Let's put it at 700. I'm thinking you're going to get 7.
Yeah.
But let's put it at 7, and nobody comes to look at it.
Yeah.
But now you have a seller that agreed and said, "Hey, Vito, yes, I agree to what you're saying, and I was thinking it's only worth 620, whatever. Let's try it out. So
Predictions.
let's see this weekend.
Where does it land?
I'm hoping it gets close to that 7 mark.
What do you think?
This is for just the back?
The whole house, the whole thing. It's
2 houses.
2 houses.
Oh. 815.
I'm going just over 9.
They're 2 little houses. It's nothing big.
I'm
but
thinking
But again,
$450 a piece.
Again, I'll put my broker hat on and be like, hey, you turn one into a rental. Now there's a
Right.
little cash flow coming in. You
Right,
might
but
as
it's
overpay.
perfect because think about it. The owners lived in the back house in the 1-bedroom, 2-bath house, which was totally remodeled, which was like insane.
Yeah.
I'll show you pictures later on. Now you rent that front house, you're going to get decent rent for that front house.
Sure.
Yeah.
In that area by the train, for sure.
Or here,
if you're doing-
we're talking about, this is a perfect example, right? We're talking about a starter home today,
Yep.
right? 600,000-700,000. Now you have 2 family members. You and your brother want to go buy a house. Hey, you know what? We can buy this property here. You live in one house, I live in the other. We can buy it for $700,000.
Yeah.
It's $350 a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
That's a freaking home run.
that's it. That's the way to do it. I don't disagree.
Right or
Vito,
wrong.
you cracked the code.
Having
But I'm telling you. But again, that's where I have to come in and try to
And
explain
explain.
to the people.
Yes.
Hey, yes, okay. You have two family, and a lot of these multi-family homes now, you have people buying them together. And now
Going back
you're
to the day when you guys came over,
when we
same
came from
situation.
Italy, right? Everybody's living in the same home. Again, affordability. That's how you can do it, right?
yeah.
But now, if you can both get a house for $350,000 each, it's a freaking home run.
Yeah, because you can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, you're working in the city. You can walk to the path. You can do whatever. But
I got my
and you
roommate
got
for life.
parking.
Yeah.
You got a driveway.
I got Uncle Mike. He's gonna be my roommate for forever.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm in again. I bought my condo in Montclair, and I'm looking at it going, oh yeah, I could sell it. I'd make a home run. I go to go where?
Where? Right. And you're gonna go rent, pay $3,000 a month.
Yeah,
Right.
easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
It would only work if you've been in that place for 25 years.
You wanna get out.
And you want to get out, and you're making a ton of money.
Yeah.
Go rent.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I don't disagree. It just seems like it's not changing, even when it should,
Should.
because it's like there's
Right.
headwinds like crazy that should be slowing it down, and it's not. And it's just like, how much longer can we go?
Go.
If you're getting whatever, we're looking at 5,000 for rent, or like I said, 6,000 in Madison. What could the city possibly look like? Again, I'm not in there looking, but you got to be saying a decent 2-bedroom in New York City has got to be pushing 10 plus thousand a month.
Oh, easy. I think easy. And the
So-
amount you got to show.
And I think going back to what you're saying about like the credit card debt and like the numbers you're looking at is like the percentage of people's check or like net worth that they're paying towards a mortgage or rental compared to going back, it's got to be 2-3x what it used to be. And it's just like, I think that's really the underlying issue that I'm talking about here is we're not pushing up wages, but we're all still trying to buy the houses. And it's just like at some point, now you're looking at it's like, oh, now I'm buying $1 million debt that I probably can't resell, or I could break even when I resell over time. And instead of having cash flow coming in, it's cash flow going out because it's taxes, it's landscaping, it's HVAC.
You probably see it now more so now with parents helping out.
Oh,
kids.
they have to.
Yeah.
But speaking about parents, my mom is 93. God bless her. She's in rehab. We were having a conversation yesterday, so we're sitting down, we're talking. How's everything going? Why? You're talking about incomes. You start talking again. Back in the day, we came here in 1967. Everybody's
By boat or by a plane?
By a plane. But everybody's working, you're still saving money, you're buying a house, you're doing this, you're doing that. And we're just talking. I said, Mom, I go, it's not like it was back in the day. I go, think about this, right? You got a family with cell phones, right? $400 a month. You got cable.
Insurance.
And TV.
Yeah.
All right? $250 a month. All right? Even if you don't have a mortgage, you have taxes.
Yep.
Say it's another $1,500 a month, right? Then you have your ShopRite bill, okay, for a family. Probably another $400 a month, a week, not a month, a week. All right. Now you have a car. Go lease a car today.
Yeah.
800, 900. Maybe you have 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have insurance on them.
Yeah.
You're probably another $800 a month in insurance. Okay. Then you have your PSE&G bill. All right.
It's time to go back to the motherland.
No. Then you have your HVAC, your
Landscaping.
your landscaping, your this and that. How much money does a family need to make today to just get by?
30, 40 grand a month? 30 grand? When you think about it, 300 grand?
If you want to do it,
350,000?
if you want to live, again, we're not.
But that's not even saying, hey, I'm going out to dinner.
Oh no.
Vacation.
I'm not going on vacation. I'm not putting money in the bank or whatever.
That's the scariest part. Is it's just the first thing that you're gonna step over is savings. So you're not gonna put anything away. And
Right.
and it's like, and this is the biggest thing I tell everybody with real estate. I was like, it's just being successful in real estate. If you want to purchase, I was like, it's just like concentration and time. There's nothing else you really need. I was like, just get in there and just wait it out and do the right thing. So
Eventually it's gonna happen,
It's
yeah.
all compounded over time. But if you just keep going, you know what? We want to pay for the new car, or the cell phone bill, or we had a flat tire, or the car got in a little bit of an
Right.
accident. So, you know, we're not. The first thing that you're going to pass over is your savings. And it's like you turn around and you go, I'm trying to catch up. I'm 42 now. I'm doing okay. And it's like,
But
well,
I got no money in the bank.
but I got no money in the bank. So that's what's really scary about it. And it's just like, at some point,
It's going to happen.
we're all collectively going to pay this bill.
I think AI is going to cure everything.
Hey, maybe. We'll see. Like I said, these housing prices are just, they're shocking to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I deal with the way I can throw around the word, why are you throwing another million on that? 5 million here. What's the difference between 5 and 6.5? To me, numbers mean nothing. You get completely jaded in commercial real estate, just the way it works. But then, like I said, just coming back and looking at, like, again, we're selling a house in Madison and what we're asking for it and what we're getting for it, and trying to be like, maybe I live in an apartment. I was like, I would love a grill in a backyard. I got a dog. Like, I don't love it that much. And you start looking at these things. It just seems like it's becoming so completely outrageous that we're all just ignoring it and letting it happen. Yeah.
Plenty more.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think something eventually is going to change. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon because I don't think there's any way to do it.
I don't think so.
Right.
But it's going to happen.
Eventually it
has
will,
to.
but it has to. But right now we just got to keep going with the flow. There's nothing else we can do.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to buy a house. Somebody wants to buy a
Lower
commercial
those rates
building.
to 1%.
If the rates come back down, I think the prices are just going to skyrocket even more.
That's what I mean. The houses we're talking about in Fairfield that we're at 330, now they're 670. They're going to be $1 million.
But maybe people then leave at that point. If you're at 3, maybe it's time to go down to Florida. Because what's the average age in Fairfield? Would you say?
It's getting younger.
It's getting
younger for sure.
Right. But still, I mean, I'm not going to Florida anytime soon. But that's
With
just
that
me.
shirt, maybe Miami. I don't know.
You like the shirt, by the way? You like the Robert Graham shirt? This is pretty cool.
like
this
it.
one, huh?
I like it.
Look, nice and open.
Look at that. You got a nice
breathing
tan.
a little bit.
You got a nice life in America.
Nice life in America. Nice life with the Robert Graham shirt here. But no, this was great.
Thanks for having me.
Mr.
No,
Noddy.
This was fun. I like these conversations.
Yeah. Do you like how I called him Mr. Noddy?
Mr.
Like
Noddy.
he's older than me. All right.
I'm gray.
He's great. Look.
gray.
He's 20 years old. He's already gray.
20 years. I wish. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
I mean, we can go on and on and on. This is we'll have Mr. Noddy
We'll bring
back.
Jason in one day.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's
but-
another one.
But you know what? It's good though because again, I learned a lot more about commercial.
Yeah.
You know, learned a lot more why you don't work the weekends. Why are you laughing?
Because you're very subtle with those jabs.
No, but it's you know what? Commercial and residential is totally different.
Yeah.
If you're looking to buy commercial, use a commercial broker.
100%.
If you're looking to buy residential, use a residential broker.
Yep.
If you're looking to buy down the shore, you know, and you call me, I'm going to refer you to somebody down the shore. Because I don't know the shore.
Yep.
You know, the way the shore prices are today, you're buying land for $1 million.
Yep.
I wouldn't pay $100,000 for it, but that's just me.
100%.
But you got to go with somebody that knows what they're doing and specializes.
Yeah.
It's
It's an extremely, whether you're commercial, whether you're residential, it's
Right.
extremely regional business. So
That's
it's like these pockets get so small. I mean, I can tell you cap rates in New Jersey. I can tell you cap rates in Fairfield. I can tell you cap rates on New Dutch.
There you go.
And they're all different. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Right. You gotta
Anybody
go-
that's getting into it, same thing. Pick
Yep.
an area, pick an asset,
That's it.
find something, become an expert at it, and don't pick your head up until you. So you got to figure
And
it
for
out.
everybody out there that wants to get into the real estate business, it's not easy. You gotta put your time in. You gotta hustle. You gotta make those phone calls. You gotta get that list. You gotta let everybody know that that's the business you're in and go from there. But well, it was great having you.
No, thank you.
And on that note, one day, and when that day does come, you need to buy or sell a house, you need to call Vito Cantuzzi, the godfather of Northern New Jersey real estate.